Hello friends, welcome back to Block Tribe. In this video, we'll be learning about inheritance in Solidity. As the word itself explains, inheritance means to inherit some properties from the parent to the child. So imagine you have a family, a parent and a child. In programming, we can apply the same idea to our coding using something called as inheritance. So inheritance allows us to create new contracts based on existing ones. It's like having a base contract parent and creating new contracts child that inherits the properties and functions from the base contract. This way we don't have to rewrite the code over and over again. So what it's trying to say is, suppose a contract A is there, which is the parent. So B inherits from contract A and so on. So likely we can also have multiple children, as well as we can also have multi-level inheritance, which is if I put a C, now B inherits from A and C inherits from B. So this is how inheritance works. It is required for modularity, and basic advantage is it helps in code reusability. Basically, we don't have to write the code over and over again, and we can basically use the same code in the other file or in the other contract rather than writing it again. And we'll also be looking at two keywords, which are virtual and override. So virtual is basically when the so let's not dwell into this, and I'll explain you what is the use of virtual and override while explaining how it is done in the code. So let's start by taking an example of a contract which contains contract dog, and what do we need to do is basically we would take two functions. Function make sound, and what we need is we need public returns. And what should it return? It should return a string memory, and it should return the sound as woof. So how the dogs bark. So yeah, and let's make it as pure for now. Yep. Now what we require is basically, let's also take one more function, run speed, and what do we need? Public pure returns. So what do we need to return here is, we just want to return the speed of the dog, which the speed at which the dog runs. So we'll return something like 10 kilometer per hour. Okay, so now let me explain. Okay, run speed, it says, oh I think so, function. Okay, yep. Okay, so what we have done is we have defined a contract make sound. We have defined a contract dog, which in which we have created two functions, make sound and run speed. Now make sound would return woof, and run speed would return 10 kilometers per hour. Now what we do is let's define one more contract as Labrador. You can say Labrador. And what I need to return from this, basically I want make sound and run speed both of Labrador. Now if we go via normal route, what we would do is we would create two functions, and we would create two functions, make sound and run speed, and I want the run speed to be 15 kilometers per hour for this Labrador. Now if we go via normal route, we would have to create two functions, but if you use inheritance, we don't require to create these functions again and again. As I already said, it helps in modularity and code reusability. So how we can achieve inheritance over here is we just need to use is dog. So this way what it does is basically, okay, so I'll resolve the error. So what it does is basically is dog tells us over here, it tells us that Labrador contract is the child of dog contract. Basically it would inherit the functions of the parent contract. Now the problem here is it says, okay, so I also told you that we'll be looking at the keywords virtual and override. So virtual is basically used to give permissions to the child class to edit or basically to change the values of the particular function. Now what I'm trying to say is, when I say virtual over here, it would allow this particular Labrador to change the to change this function in its body. Now okay, so okay, yeah, so now you have given permissions over here, but when you come to the child class, right, you also need override over here. After the virtual permissions have been given, you also need override over here. So at the parent level you need to give virtual permission, and at the child level you need override to override that particular function. Now if you see, if let's go ahead and deploy. Now what happens, you have deployed the dog class. I will also deploy the Labrador. Now if I see over here, it says woof and the speed as 10 km/h for the dog contract. Whereas if we go ahead and see for the Labrador, right, so now Labrador also has both the functions make sound and run speed, which is and in the Labrador we have not defined the make sound, and this is only happening because we have introduced the concept of inheritance over here. It has inherited the value or the function from its parent class. Now if we say woof and if we say make sound, it says woof, and if we run the run speed, it says 15 km/h. So this is how inheritance is achieved in Solidity, and I think so it's a basic concept. Everywhere it runs the same way, but in Solidity we can achieve inheritance in this way. And also not only functions, we can also inherit the properties of a state variables, etc. So let's go ahead and deploy. Let's try to say address, and we say owner dog underscore owner, and what do we need? We say message dot sender. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so now what we have done is we have created a variable address, and which is dog owner, and what we have done is the message dot sender would be pointing to the dog owner. And now let's go ahead and deploy this so that we have a basic understanding. So now you see the dog owner also is coming here. Now if we deploy the Labrador, so it would also would be coming in the Labrador. Now this is also been inherited. So this way, not only functions, we can also inherit variables as well. And yeah, that's it. Now there is also a possibility that there is a subbreed to a Labrador. So suppose we want a contract which says American Labrador, and we say is Labrador. Okay, so what we are trying to do over here is basically this is the contract dog, and from that dog we have created a contract Labrador. and from that Labrador now we have multiple other Labradors such as American Labrador or English Labrador. So what we want to do is we want to create function and we just want its okay, now what we want to do is we want to make sound of this Labrador as the sound of this Labrador as woof, 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 woof. Okay, now let's go ahead and try running it so you'll get a better idea what I'm trying to say. Now when we go and check, the run speed is 15, whereas we even did not create this function over here, and make sound, it would come as woof. Now what we have done is basically this particular function has come from the grandparent, the dog contract, which is like even the Labrador did not have this, and this was getting inherited from here, and now this function make sound has been changed from woof to woof, the extra f's. So this is how inheritance in Solidity is achieved. And if you have any questions or doubts, please let me know. Please drop them in the comment section below. I'll try to answer them. And that's all for the video. Please do like, share and subscribe for more. Thank you.